It really conveys how disjointed the federal government is from the states. That's not good at all. You would think that they would have the highest of, communications, that one would inform the other, but that's not the case. There have been some military bases also who have requested that their airspace be shut down. Maybe you guys read about that too. So military bases yesterday and the day before were requesting that airspace around those bases be shut down so nothing could fly near those military bases. That implies that somebody's a bit nervous about what they are. And the American people, people around the globe, they are very different in what they believe. I do believe those beliefs are going to be brought together. I believe that. They're going to be brought together. When those lights in the skies will be they're going to cause some problems. Just like in the old world, before the plagues, people saw those lights. Before every world war, people saw those lights. Every single time. Before mass death on this planet, people saw those lights. Those things in mind. Somebody says, can you tell us the guy's name? Is it Gadriel? No. In the ocean, symbolic. It's close. It's close, Texas Shirley. How did you come up with that name, Gadriel? It's close. But that's not it. It's close. But that is. But yeah, they're there. They're there. You guys remember the buzzword in the Pentagon that the ancients were coming back? Right? You guys remember that? The ancients were coming. That was a buzzword a long time ago. That has happened already. They've set up shop. They're there. They're out there. They're out there. I would caution you into going down that, unless the Lord guide you to go down that highway, I would caution you on that. Here's why. If you know who they are, they're going to automatically know who you are. There are some rules. In the angelic realm, there are some rules, right? There are some principles that not even an angel can get around. And one of them is this. Whatever you can see back, because it's God that allows you to see in the first place. I say what I say about the binary system because I know it's going to affect everything about this planet. Okay? So it's a type of, not really a warning, but a type of heads up that I'm giving people that, hey, you're going to have a difference in properties and everything else on this earth, right? And it's not going to be like the movies. The forces are being felt now. The forces are changing things now, right? Everybody's working at breakneck pace to maintain a sense of normalcy. Never forget that right now in the world, everybody is working at a breakneck pace to maintain a sense of normalcy. Remember that. Right? But when they give explanations as to why the Earth's axis is pointed in the same direction all the time, despite the movements of anything, okay, something is wrong. Wouldn't you say something's wrong? You mean to tell me we have a sun, right? We have a sun. We have other big objects out there, and nothing has the power to alter the axis of the Earth? How can that be? How can it be? How can nothing have the power to alter the axis of the Earth? If you study celestial mechanics, you'll understand that the sun's position, its axis, and the axis of the Earth, they're in competition. The axis of the Earth being at the angle it is should not be. The axis of the Earth being at the angle it is should not be. There are adjustments in celestial mechanics to make things work. In other words, they fudge the numbers because they can't explain the axis of the Earth. How about that? The axis of this Earth is pointing to something. It's always pointing to the same spot. Always. How can it maintain the pointing to the same spot always for all these years? Huh? That's a pretty hefty influence. Or we're not the only ones either. We believe what people have told us. How many of you have seen Pluto? You have not seen Pluto. You've been shown pictures of Pluto. You don't even know if Pluto is real or not. You don't know. It could be fake. It could be non-existent. Right now, it could be non-existent. People believe there is a Pluto because somebody told them there's a Pluto. And my point is, we have been told everything to believe in. It's not like we know. You've been told. And you begin that way until you yourselves are ever trusted enough to have access to certain things, and you start see the opposite of what you've been told. And if they trust you that much, they trust you will never speak about it. You already know that. We've been taught by mankind. They taught you everything you need to believe in right here on this earth. I'm just telling you what I know. That's why you have people, they fight, they argue over academics, not even knowing what they're arguing over. Somebody says, can you explain 1,000 years of missing from our... No, I can't explain it. I can show you some things, but I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Plus, let me share this with you. I've heard people attempt to explain it and pull up pictures. See, I have a pretty hefty archive of imagery. A lot of pictures I've matched to things that have nothing to do with what they're trying to say. And I don't want to openly embarrass anybody like that or anything, so I keep a lot to myself. But some of those pictures that people are showing have nothing to do with a missing time gap. You know, right now, 2024-25 history books have been altered, especially in the year 2024. They've been altered. Names have been changed yet again. And now that things are digital, they can change history in less than minutes. They can change a fact on the internet. Listen to me carefully. They can change a fact on the internet where nobody can reference what existed before. And when you start to see the new evidence, you'll swear that's the way it's been this entire time. You will. You'll say, that's the way it's been. But I thought I remembered it being something different. Well, it must be something weird like the Mandela Effect. Oh, my goodness gracious. Lord, help us, please. Do I believe in the Mandela Effect? No, I do not. Because I know what people do. That's why I don't believe in the Mandela Effect. You'd be surprised how many books out there that are science fiction are in fact true. You'd be shocked how many books out there are actually true. They've turned them into comical movies, right? And the ones that are comical, they hold the most truth. That's a fact. They hold the most truth. You'd be shocked. But you have to know specific things to actually get the rest of what they're talking about. But they always throw it into something like, this is fiction. They'll say this is fiction. Well, that's where you pick up most of your truth from. And if you go back in time and look at some of these fictional accounts, you're going to notice that in the world, real world events have taken place from these books of fiction. The generals came out and said what? These balloons, there's no evidence that these balloons have collected any information of anything. After it was all said and gone, then the story came out, the recordings came out. These things had been over military bases. These things had been over sensitive nuclear sites. These things had been everywhere. And those were essentially atmospheric satellites. So forget about the word balloon. They were satellites the size of school buses, right? Collecting information from everything on the ground. Topology, yes, but also signals from the ground. They were recording everything. That's how they got the information they retrieved from those radio signals. See, here's what you may not know. Any satellite that can record the ground these days, you can also record everything from the ground up. So if a radio signal goes through it, you can record it. Right? Now think of something, a radio signal to record from the top side or whatever. Seems like that would be useless. Wrong, because we have computers and AI systems that can reconstruct a radio signal from fragmented radio signals. In other words, a computer is smart enough now to reconstruct missing elements of a radio signal. That means if they capture a communications beam, they can reconstruct it. A long time ago, it used to be that the military would develop things. That's not what's been happening. You guys, this may hurt your feelings, but the development of military armament has been in civilian hands for many, many, many years. That's been in the corporate world. You're looking at corporations who develop our defense capabilities. They're just not going to give out anything to anybody. The rich want guarantees that they're going to remain rich. Their greatest fear is becoming poor. Never forget that. If they ever showed or demonstrated what their capabilities are, within 1 week, people would say, wait a minute, if they can do that, then they can stop cancer. If they can do that, then why are we still in this position? If they can do that, then they can alleviate this on the people, and then you would have true rebellion in this world. That's why only in the midst of the loudest combative situations will you ever hear talk of these weapons of mystique. They will never advertise them. They will never use them in the open because people are educated now. And if they see the capabilities of these things, they'll say, well, why weren't those capabilities applied to my family when they had cancer, or to this, situation before all these people died? They already know this.